Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to the Tuesday Tussle for this Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. This is an episode we are calling Taking Initiative in Boxing. Yeah, You see, taking an initiative is important to be able to manage, take control. That's what that's about. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that a little bit this evening, because we've had circumstances that have arisen in the sport which points out people who are ill-managed, mismanaged, people who are misappropriating their position in the sport. And we'll have a couple of examples of that. But it's a discussion to be had, because you can learn a lot in the gym. But if your applied science for life isn't sharpened as well, you can succumb to all types of circumstances that can leave you at a tremendous disadvantage. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about this evening. Taking the initiative. When you have the opportunity to state your claim, to cement your position as a fighter, you must be able to plant yourself and not be moved in your convictions. Problem is, today we have so many who do not have conviction. And it's unfortunate, because that's something that's taught people. Yeah, it's taught. And I have to say, I've said it before, teaching is very poor these days, very poor. And you're seeing the results of the poor teaching when you just cannot put confidence in some of your fellow subjects that you see here out in the sport of boxing. Yeah. Well, we're here to talk about that a little bit this evening. I want to say welcome everybody that's out there. I'm broadcasting across a couple of channels. My main YouTube channel, the STORMYBMAN'S Kung Fu Temple and Entertainment channel, because I'm just trying to provide more content on the channels. And of course, you may follow me on Rumble, because we're trying to build that audience on Rumble, where you will find that STORMYBMAN will be going live on Rumble more than anywhere else in the near future. Yeah. So just know that the link is in the description box there for the Rumble. I meant to pin it, but I didn't. So I'm pinning it right now. Pinning the link for Rumble at the top of the chat. Yeah. Well, we're going to do this. I want to say salute and thank you once again to Columbia, who's very helpful in providing the links for the channel, whether it's the merchandise links for Streamlabs merchandise or A-Weapons merchandise for STORMYBMAN. It is the tip option for donations to the channel, the Cash App and PayPal links, Patreon links, and of course the Rumble links and the links for my other channel. Everything is all in the description box as well. So just remember that you can go to any of the videos or any of the live streams into the description box, and the links are readily available for you there for your selection. Yeah. I want to say salute to the family we got over listening on Rumble right now. LPRN is out there. Jamal Davis is in the chat as well. We've got about 4 others over there who haven't decided to write in the chat yet. But yay, come on now. Just do your part, huh? This STORMYBMAN likes to say that. Bring yourself out of the shadows into the light, huh? And then we can see you dance solo. Yeah! That's what it's all about, man. Told you guys a little earlier today that love and support is very important. Very important. You know, and I'm bringing, listen, If any of you guys had a chance to catch the Nerds on Culture last night, where we talked, they cloned Tyrone. Oh my goodness. What a great show, man. What a great show. We really cooked on that subject, and we cooked on things that parlay into today's time around that subject, things that have been a little bit before time regarding that subject. So do yourself a favor. If you didn't catch the live, go back and give it a replay, rewatch over, because a tremendous show it was. Yeah. Now, let's see who we got going out here in the chat as we do our roll call before getting into the nitty and the gritty. Yeah, we got Universal Truth out there. What's good? Chilltown is in the building. Dale Real out there as well. Stephen L. the Mac is back. What's good with you? Jamal Davis pulling double duty. And Universal says last night's show was a great show. Yeah, there you go. Take it from someone who was there, not just me. Yeah. Del Real says that was a great show. Made me think. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it did. Jamal says, I've been MIA going through some things, but I've been catching up with your videos. Hey, brother, God be with you. Godspeed, bro. And we all, are dealing with some things. So let me just be here to tell you personally, bro, that I hope that you persevere with whatever it is you're going through, because these are very trying times for us all, and no one should be less considered as a brother or sister out here going through. So our prayers be with you, brother, that you be able to push through and persevere. Yeah. So he says, yeah, I'm gonna definitely check out your breakdown on They Cloned Tyrone. That movie has a lot of truth to it. Oh yeah, and that's what we cooked on. We definitely cooked on the truth, man. Right in plain sight. The truth, right in plain sight, because people are more inclined now to believe a lie than to want to have truth. Yep. So, yeah, we are here. This subject wasn't hard for me to come up with for tonight's show. Listen, you guys may not believe me when I say this, but it doesn't matter what day it is, what show it is. I can always come up with something, man, right off the cuff. That's a gift that I have, and I thank my Lord and Savior for that, being able to have the ingenuity to come up with something spot on. And I also do this spontaneously. When I speak over the mic to you as I'm doing this evening, I have no notes. I have nothing laid before me. All I have is a couple of images that I'm going to put up. But just know, see, that's what it's all about, man. And when I'm highly energetic, you can kind of hear it in my voice like I am this evening. I feel highly energetic, feeling a lot better today. And I thank God for that. I know that's a blessing. But let me say, tonight's subject, taking the initiative in boxing. We've had a lot of situations unfold, going all the way back to a couple of weeks ago when Chris Mannix did that interview with WBC President and CEO Mauricio Suleiman. Suleiman really shot himself in the foot so much, I don't think he has any toes left. He really hammered out what the corruption is in the sport of boxing, led by his organization. But I'm going to say this. We're seeing the fallout already, because even though the news was the sanctioning fees that certain fighters didn't want to pay his organization for rocking and repping his title belt, whether they were defending it or not. We are seeing now that the heavyweight champion of the world, Alexander Usyk, has signed with Zuffa Boxing. And he's a unified champion right now because the WBO title is currently in the possession of Fabio Wardley from the UK. Now, Usyk had put out there that he would like to face Deontay Wilder. And Wilder was like, let's get it. But the reality of circumstances really kicked in, and Wilder realizes that he may want to go at his own pace. He'll still face Usyk, but he would like to get the opportunity to shake off some ring rust and get in there against a threat that can snap his focus back into center view. And that will be Derek Chisora as they get ready to face one another in an upcoming fight. Usyk, in the meantime, has selected a former mixed martial arts fighter, Enrico, that he's going to get in there with. Now, Enrico is a former sparring partner for Tyson Fury, going to be trained by, I believe, Peter Fury. Anyway, the whole thing of it is that Fury wants to come back now too. I guess he's had enough time to wean off of whatever substances that he's had coursing through his veins. So he's trying to play serious again with an eye toward the sport of boxing. But we all know how that works when you're using substances. We still got a live wire in the sport presently in Ryan Garcia, and they're giving him a pass. So Fury must be looking at that saying, you know what? Rubbing his hands, I can do my part as well. Yeah. But we're going to always be out here watching. Okay? And the reality is, when you cheat like they cheat, they bear watching at all times. 24/7, 365. OSDD. That's right. I said it. And that's what's needed. So, but anyway, getting into the subject for tonight's show, taking initiative in boxing. I mentioned Mauricio. I mentioned what's happening with Fury. You've got Floyd Mayweather Jr. trying to make a comeback. Though he tried to tell anyone who would listen he's made more money than any fighter in boxing. He's got to come back because he needs $1. Do I really care? Absolutely not. I'd be much rather enthused to be watching some of the young up-and-coming fighters in the sport. He's had his day and he's made his hay. I don't give a darn about what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Just like he didn't give a darn when community was going through things, and he made certain to double down that it's the community's fault, and that the community is at odds and are on the wrong track. But see, now you need someone to pay tickets for your bouts. You should have thought about that, because I damn sure ain't gonna buy no tickets for a Floyd Mayweather bout, And if he dare try to come on my television, guess what I got? The power to change the channel. Yeah, that's called objectivity, And he doesn't know anything about that because he doesn't know anything about this other little word called humility, But Uncle Sam will teach him that he's still a ninja, Yeah! You ain't no different than the rest of us. Floyd. Yeah. Bill. Gonna be really crying Because you know what it is? Put an S at the end of that. Bills. Bills. Yeah, you still got to pay them, son. You still got to pay. You're welcome. Anyway, one of the farces that we recently saw, these two gents, this took place back when Virgil had been in the ring against Erickson Lubin, Erickson Lubin demolished in one round by Virgil Ortiz. Now, it wouldn't be so bad, but Virgil had the gall to call Jerron Boots Ennis, who was in attendance that night back in November 2025 at the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. Yeah, Virgil decided to call Jerron into the ring and say, hey, let's get it on. You're next. And Jerron, he obliged. He got in the ring, told him, hey, it's time for us to do this. I want to show you that I'm the man and you're not. And, other words were exchanged, but basically they gave us the impression that they would be facing off against one another. By the time that Virgil had got from the ring to the dressing room, he was already talking about fighting a different opponent. What transpired between the ring face down and the walk to the dressing room? I don't know. But for some strange reason, he started talking about facing Errol Spence, who's been out of the ring, as long as Andre Ward or somebody. It's like the man ain't thinking about boxing right now, but here you are calling his name. Oh, it'll be a great fight for Texas. No, what would have been a great fight was you facing Jerron Ennis. But guess what? The promoter, Oscar De La Hoya of Golden Boy, made a decision that he didn't feel that that's such a good fight right now. I can recall a couple of years ago when Robert Garcia, the coach and trainer at that time for Virgil, then spent some time away from Virgil and has now reingratiated himself to Virgil, stated that he could see Virgil and Jerron get it on in about 48 months. In other words, about the length of a car note for those of you that just made a purchase. No! Why would you do that? Because you're supposed to be the badass. But De La Hoya said no. To the degree that even when Virgil in his own camp was trying to negotiate a deal with Jerron, De La Hoya took it to the trenches, and filed a lawsuit. See, that's where the trenches are for y'all today, You want to make fun of people when they file for justice, but then for convenience, you don't want to acknowledge it, Well, you can't have this double standard, man. De La Hoya put in a restraining order against the Ennis camp. Hey, don't you come within 500 feet. Don't call on the phone. Hey, or we will be incurring some fines and fees to you. Well, that made Boots have to do the moonwalk away from Virgil Ortiz Jr. Huh? And Virgil is now ingratiated to Oscar. He should be wearing some fishnets and carrying some utensils from the kitchen very soon. Woo! Boxing is something else, y'all. Huh? The only thing I hope that is Virgil finds a color that's more flattering to him, because Oscar done stole the black already, huh? Yeah. Uh-huh. But this is what it is. This is what boxing has come to. Erickson Lubin sold himself out, huh? Pretended that he didn't know what ducking, tying someone up, punching back, slipping, bobbing, and weaving meant in boxing. He should never get in the ring ever again. But that's your legacy, Lubin, that you sold off to this guy, huh? And Robert Garcia kind of put the cherry on top by jumping in the ring with a stool for you, huh? Here, sit right here, ninja. Yeah. You see, that was one of the most staged farces I've seen. Just a month earlier, a few weeks earlier, we saw Jaron Ennis beat up his opponent. Yeah, it was crazy. A one-round blowout of Uisma Lima, huh? A guy that didn't belong in the ring with him, even though he told anyone that would listen promoting the fight that I need a tune-up, huh? Let me tell you something about tune-ups in boxing. What they mean nowadays is, I want a soft touch that I get paid my normal purse for, that I can look like I'm the next coming of Sugar Ray Robinson. He must fall when I breathe on him. That's what tune-up means today. Because tune-ups in the past era can turn into upsets, huh? But this is what we've been inundated with. Guys with high talents like Ortiz or even Ennis clamoring for in-betweeners and no-hopers. But they can't take the initiative to take the fights that they need to take to elevate themselves in their status and position. Those two men, that was November when they saw each other in the ring. They should be fighting this month or next month. But they blew it. They blew the money, they blew the fan interest, and they blew reputation. Yeah, that's hard to get back. Ask Richardson Hitchens. Yeah. And ask that other boy, was it Kid Austin? Reputation in boxing, it's hard to overcome when it's negative. Yeah. So, as these two failed miserably, they allowed Oscar De La Hoya to come into the mix and mess it up for everybody. And you have no idea what that ruling for Oscar does for the misfit circumstances in boxing. There are going to be many others who will live and dine off of these type of circumstances. And it doesn't serve the sport well at all. And the fans and supporters of the sport are going to be the least pleased Because even if one of these guys happen to be a guy that you throw your support behind, you're going to be surprised at how much of a behind of his he gives you to kiss. Especially when you clamor for the best fighting the best. Yeah. But this is what it is now, huh? It's nothing to be proud of. In fact, it's outright shameful. Shameful. And we have others, people, who have partaken in lack of initiative. Take a look at your screen and gaze your eyes upon these two misfits, huh? Both at the present time happen to be super lightweights, huh? Yeah. We're looking at Keyshawn Davis and Shitty Cuz, huh? A match made in blazes, huh? Because these two have decided to walk the route of disrespect when it comes to boxing. Yeah. Neither one of them won any parts of real competitive bouts, and they found ways to duck. It's ridiculous. At lightweight, Mellow Yellow has been taken off the scene, huh? By his own doing, by the way. And nobody did anything to him. He messed up. Don't cry. But we've seen the emergence of Ray Mortar, who is now a man that says he's ready to take on others and unify. But the others at that weight class, Jonathan Simon, what's good with you? The others at the weight class, they have a lot to say about that. There's a young man who just recently had his hand at a title. 21-year-old Abdullah Mason, who defeated Sam Noakes for the WBO lightweight title back in November. Abdullah is a young man on the come up. And he is a fighter that really bears watching. And Mortaya, who happens to be 29, may be coming into a place where he's beginning to have the type of confidence that a fighter as he should have, with a record of 24-0 and 17 KOs. Good stuff. And I would like to see them do the best that they can. But I'm going to tell you why Shakur, Shitty Cuz, and Keyshawn decided to leave the lightweight division. There's a little Cuban fighter by the name of Javier Herrera, who's 18-0 with 16 KOs. He's 23 years of age. A Cuban fighter that is solid, 5'9", and dynamite in both hands. He has called out Shitty Cuz. He has called out Keyshawn and anyone else in the division, but nobody seems to want to mention his name. And there's something about not mentioning the Cuban fighters' names. Why people don't want to take the initiative and show how great they truly are by fighting these great Cuban fighters. As soon as someone can answer that for me, why the sport of boxing freezes out the potentially dominant Cuban fighter, I don't know for the life of me. Because out of all the Latin fighters, the Cubans are at the bottom of who gets consideration. We've seen the likes of Luis King Kong Ortiz, Frank Sanchez, Guillermo Rigondeaux get freezed out of opportunities on a continuous basis. Andy Cruz. These fighters are good fighters. You see, you got to be really watching the sport to know these things. There's another fighter, junior lightweight champion, O'Shaquie Foster, who put hands, feet, and everything else on Stephen Fulton, or said he would hang around lightweight just for Shakur, who's been running from him. And I believe him. There are great fights to be made, people, and these guys won't get in the ring and fight each other. The ones who want to get it done, yes, they stand head and shoulders above. O'Shaquie is in the midst of a prime. He's 24 wins, 3 losses, and 12 KOs, but the 3 losses are all questionable. All questionable. One legitimate, but the other 2, and I'm going to tell you something. His nickname, Ice Water, serves him correctly, because that's exactly what he has coursing through his veins. But if you notice, there's not much drumming of his name, and that's by design. There are people out here that don't want to talk O'Shaquie Foster because he is one of the true ones that can get rid of the likes of Shitty Cuz and Key Shame. And they like to mention Devin the Dream Haney's name, but they are not interested in getting in the ring with him. Foolishness. We're seeing a lot of this, man. Too much of it. And how is it that these guys are being allowed to continue? The fans are ridiculous for not holding them accountable. I don't care if he's your favorite fighter. Tell your favorite fighter he needs to fight. And these 2 numbskulls are managed by Jay Prince. What does it gain him to hold both of these men back? All they do is talk in social media, but they get in the ring with no real challengers or challenges. They do not take the initiative to do what's right in the sport of boxing. Now, I will admit, Shitty Cuz is a very talented fighter, but we'll never know how talented because he won't press himself. And that's unfortunate, because that's all you could ask, that he press himself. Salute to Jose Diaz, who is now a moderator over there on the Stormy B Man's Kung Fu Temple and Entertainment channel page. Because you wrote in the chat, I was able to give you a wrench over there, brother. Thank you for showing support on the other channel. Yeah. And key shame is a basket case, you guys. Mental health should be worn around his neck like a bauble. Yeah. He's had one of the most significant crash outs in recent memory when he did what he did last summer out there in Norfolk, where they were trying to have a hometown homecoming for he and his brothers on that card. And he blew off the weight, blew off the title, blew off the event, and then got himself into some serious trouble after he and his brothers attacked Nair Albright after the fight. You know, come on, man. He spoke about not having a father and that they don't need that or whatever, but I'm going to tell you something. I beg to differ, because if he had a real father in his life, that father would not have encouraged him to do what he and his brothers did on that event. And he thinks he's going to get mentoring from Jay Prince. He's going to get it from Shitty Cuz. They're two of a kind, bro. The two of them. Yeah, Hendall. Key Shame with the M. Shame. Because that's what he brings. Everywhere he goes, every time he speaks. See, when Stormy B Man nicknamed you, it fits, regardless of whether people understand the name initially or not. Now tell me Shitty Cuz ain't perfect, huh? No, key shame, as in that boy is a shame. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'm saying that's the name I've given him. Key shame. It's ridiculous. But this is what we deal with around here with these people. Oh, and let's not forget this situation here. Devin the Dream is now being courted by Rolly Retarded Romero. Yeah. Yeah, special needs bus is running a little late this evening, huh? But I'm going to tell you something. He's the one that said he didn't want to fight Devin after Devin beat up on Brian Norman Jr. He didn't want to acknowledge Devin's accomplishments. When they fought on the New York card back in Times Square, even though Devin threw him one of the greatest alley-oops in the history of boxing, because on that Times Square card, when Devin fought Jose Carlos Ramirez and Ricardo Romero fought Ryan Garcia, he benefited off of everything that Ryan had signed up for, because it was originally supposed to be Ryan and Devin in a rematch. Then Ryan started talking about he wanted a tune-up. There's that word again, huh? Even using the name and likes of Pitbull Cruz, which we knew that wasn't going to happen. But anyway, it ended up going to Retardo. And Ryan looked about as plain as white bread, huh? No butter on it, no jelly, huh? Untoasted, maybe a little mold. Yeah! But Retardo benefited from that because there was no juicing. He had been enrolled in the anti-doping, and guess what? It was Retardo's left hook that put Garcia down, and the rest is history. So even though the contracts for Garcia and Haney to face each other, Ryan didn't take the initiative, huh? He opted to say, I got a ow, I got a ouchie, my hand is hurt. So he went and disappeared out of the public's eye for several months, staying out of the doping program for several months. A page out of the Fury book, huh? The Tyson Fury book. Yeah. And so by doing that, then he swings around and they offer him a WBC title fight at welterweight against Sario Barrios, huh? And guess what? You can go from a loss to a hand injured, alleged, to another title shot right in a row. Wow. Where they do that at? Oh, the UK, huh? With Tyson Fury, huh? Yeah. Kinahan, yeah. See, these are the kind of things that people just kind of gloss over. And Stormy don't talk about it a lot, but you think I don't know? If you think that boy was clean when he fought Sario Barrios, you got another thing coming. His physique didn't even look the same. And guess what? The fight against Retardo was the first welterweight fight. True welterweight. He lost, got knocked on his ass. In this fight against Sario, he comes out and puts the guy down with a right hand to the head. Guess what? That's not his best punch. The left hook is his best punch. So if he's knocking the dude down with the right hand, what does he have going on in those veins that were so profound and protruding while he was in the gym, huh? It was like the boy looked like he was in Pumping Iron Part 5, huh? But y'all said nothing. I don't know who was the worst welterweight titleist, Retardo or Sario, but he finally got one of them, but it took a little extra something, huh? The goodie bag, as I call it. Yeah. So Devin says to him, hey, let's unify. And sure enough, just like that train that's never late, Ryan says, I'm the A side now. I don't have to fight you right now. I can go around this corner and talk my stuff and call more N words than you can imagine. And y'all gonna let him too. Mm-hmm. But I've digressed enough. This image that I put up here of Retardo and Devin Haney is from an Instagram post, Ring Magazine, where Retardo says to Devin, he says, yo, we called your daddy at noon. Tell him to pick up. We got our side of the deal done. Really? To which Haney responded, Retardo, I've never seen you this thirsty. You must have a deadline to face your mandatory or something. And that's true, because this Thursday is supposed to be the deadline that Retardo meets up for the purse bid and everything for the number one contender, Shakram Gasayev. Huh? Yeah. Now, nobody really knows Gasayev, but he's another Ukrainian fighter. And guess what those Ukrainians like to do to people like Retardo? Embarrass them. Yeah. So, with that being said, listen. He's now chomping at the bit trying to get Devin Haney in the ring, because if he fights Devin, he's going to make the money that he can't make nowhere else. But remember, he was originally talking about, why should I fight Devin? He ain't going to do nothing but sue me for punching him and stuff like that. You know, just insulting and acting as if he's above him and all of this. Retardo, nobody knew who he was until Tank Davis shattered the glass on his chin, huh? But anyway, so he's now ready because PBC done told him, Amazon Prime has told him, everybody has told him, you better get your thick-headed butt in the ring with Devin and make that coin. Otherwise, Gasayev is gonna get you, huh? For a mere bag of peanuts. Yeah! Debo got it all sealed off, you guys. He got it all sealed off. And they're gonna have to come up out their chains, huh? Bracelets and all of that, huh? Earrings. Give me some snaps on that on that tank of gas over there, huh? Yeah. So I've never seen a fighter who was trying his best to duck get pushed right into the cutting blade. Debo must be rubbing his hands together. He must be saying, I got this sucker. Yeah. But that's the way it should happen, shouldn't it? It should happen that way, because they don't want to take the initiative. I give Brian Norman Jr. the credit for stepping right to Devin. And it wasn't about, like, you know, a thing where, you know, he didn't want to challenge himself. But I do believe he had a different mindset toward the things that fighters were saying about Devin, because, you know, the fighters today, they talk that talk, but they don't walk the walk. So they were talking about Devin being pillow-fisted and, you know, taken care of and coddled by his pops and this and that, you know, the negative stuff that they would say. But nobody was really looking at the young man's work ethic, what Floyd Mayweather Sr. has said about him, what has transpired from the gym stories, because just like with David Benavidez was beating people's asses for years in sparring, Devin had been working with pros in the gym, holding his own, including, before he retired, Floyd Money Mayweather. See, all of that stuff meant something. And you don't think the word went around about him? That people were saying, man, that boy's like Floyd. What do you mean? He fights like Floyd? No, he's focused, he's dialed in, he's sharp, he's got abilities, he can box, he can punch, he can do this, he can move, he's elusive. All of the positive things, that word gets around. But it got turned publicly into something of a farce. And that's because the resentment of his dad's involvement in his career, making quality, elite chessmen moves. Yeah. So they decide to cycle BS associated with Devin's name. And I think that Norman Jr. kind of bought into that a little bit, because in the aftermath, seeing that he's gotten some changes in his own corner and everything in interviews, he has talked at very tremendous transparency that, you know what, I might have got a little bit into the hype a bit. But see, the only thing is, by that self-admittance, is that can make him a better man, and he can go out and take initiative with his career going forward. These others will be and remain stagnated because they do not have the confidence to do what's needed and necessary. Shitty Cuz, Keyshane, Ritardo, Ryan, all of these guys, they need to get their acts together. By the time this era is over and done, Devin will have ascended way beyond those guys, because they're in it for the wrong reason. The wrong reason. Yeah. So when we talk about fighters taking the initiative, look at the ones who are and the ones who are not. And I've given you a list of many who are not, and primarily one who is. And that's what makes the difference in this sport of boxing. Devin isn't the only one who does. But it was very convenient to mention him because all of these fighters are around his weight class and division. And it means something, as it should, because these guys don't want to do what they're supposed to do. And that's okay, because guess what? There'll always be someone who will. Yeah. There'll always be someone who will. So, but listen, guys, that's my time. That hour goes by fast, you see. And I'm going to go fast away from here. Yeah. This is Stormy B Man. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button on the way out if you didn't on your way in. Like and share the video. Don't forget to follow me over there on Rumble. We'll see you next week for another tussle. Yeah. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Peace to you guys. Have a wonderful week.